I'm Brad. Welcome to DIY Woodn't You. In this video, we're going to build this tiny little farmhouse style table. Okay, now when I said tiny, that may have been a bit of an exaggeration, especially with the camera angle just now. It's actually 2 feet wide and 40 inches long. So it's not tiny, but it's cozy. So the story behind it is, in Darla and Mike's kitchen here, they have this little L-shaped banquette in the corner that they had built. Because it was just kind of a wasted corner, there was nothing there, and they needed a table to go in it, but they couldn't find one at a furniture store because who makes a table that small? So they asked if I'd build them something that fit this space. Stay tuned, this is gonna be fun. The way that I'm going to construct this table is the top is going to be 2x6 white oak, edge glued together, the corners radiused, and a nice double step bevel on the top edge. The pedestal is going to be made out of white pine with knee braces supporting at the top and the bottom, and the foot under this table is going to be an X brace running long ways and wide ways. So to get started, I need to go ahead and clean this oak up and get it dressed and ready to glue up the tabletop. Well, table saws scare me, but this is the best way to get the opposite side of those 2x6s squared up. Those boards are actually about 7 inches wide, and so I'm going to run them through the table saw, putting the jointed face against the fence here, and then that will, in turn, cut the other face parallel with that face, giving me perfectly 6-inch wide, square, true boards. I don't like table saws. Here we are. Alright, let's glue them up.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead.
I'm putting these boards down on the end here, not glued. It's kind of a sacrificial board, so that when I tighten this down, it's actually squeezing on these end boards instead of on these boards.
You know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath.
Now this part right here may actually be just as stressful as running this through the table saw, just because you don't really have all that long to get this thing clamped up. And you're trying to get all the boards flat and square, not twisted. It is pretty fun though. To glue this, I'm using Titebond 2, and one thing that's nice about Titebond 2 is it's interior-exterior, water resistant, and also, while it's wet, you can spray water on it and actually wipe off excess. That way I don't have to go back and sand quite as much. This is going to be the pedestal for the table. So I've got a 4x4 base, side to side, front to back, and then I'm putting a 1x4 foot under each corner. Piece of 3/4 inch plywood on top of this with knee braces on the bottom, and then the tabletop on top of this. So the overall height's going to be 29.5 to match their current dining room table. The height of this piece needed to be 22 3/4.
They'll try to kick you while you're down.
It's pretty, huh? I'm going to take some 2x4s from a previous project, plane these down, square them up, and I'm going to turn these into the knee braces that go from the pedestal up to the tabletop and down to the feet on the bottom of the table. I'm going to take this 4x4 and cut it down to make feet for the table. Now for the 40-inch length, I think I'm going to make the foot 24 inches long, and then maybe 18 for the short side. I don't want to make the base of this table too long to where you're kicking the feet underneath it. Now I'm going to take the 2 legs and actually notch them around each other. So if these pieces are 3.5 inches thick, then I'll be notching down 1 3/4 inches into the top of this one and notching up 1 3/4 inches into the bottom of this one. And this is actually what will create the strength of these 2 pieces locked together. I at first talked about doing some little curvies on these feet here. From a buildability standpoint, I think it may be easier if I just do a 45-degree cut on this edge and then put a nice round on the corners. That way I can get a decent little knee brace here as well. That looks pretty stinking good. I'm gonna reach out to the customer and make sure that she is okay with this though. And then a nice little round right there. Perfect. I think that's the look we're going for. A little square spacer under each corner, a nice little knee brace. I'm gonna go ahead and put a nice little round on these corners here, just to dress this up a little bit. I'm using a 1/4 inch radius router bit. After getting it all mocked up, the lady that I'm building this for, one of the edges is a little bit smoother, and I realized that this, being 1.5 inches thick, looks a little chunky. And so I'm gonna shave a 1/2 inch off of this, both sides, and kind of tuck it in a little bit nicer. Maybe go back and plane those bottom 4x4s down a little bit to thin them out some. We'll see how that goes.
Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play
My bandsaw's a little puny, but I'm going for it.
fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't.
2 hours later.
Well, my dang memory card filled up, but there's what that looks like. That's looking pretty stinking good. I'm gonna go ahead and fasten these little feet onto the bottom here. I'm coming in 7/8 of an inch. That's just enough to get away from the edge, but not too close in the middle. Here I'm gonna use wood glue and then go in with some 1.25 inch screws through the bottom, countersunk so it doesn't split that out, and then round all these edges. And I probably need to cut a longer one of these because taking a 1/2 inch off the bottom of this makes the tabletop 1/2 inch shorter.
As far as difficulty level on this project right here, if you're thinking about building one, I say you should go for it. If you've done woodworking before, you might really enjoy it. If you've never done woodworking before, you might never do another DIY project in your life.
This countersink I've linked in the video description. I bet I use this on, if not every project, every other project. This is one of the best tools that I've got, is that countersink drill bit. It gets a nice clean finish and it keeps the drill from cracking the wood out. That's some hard stinking wood. Just like the pedestal and the base needs support with these knee braces that I'm adding on the sides, the top does as well. The top is super heavy. So I'm gonna take this piece of 3/4 inch plywood, cut a square, actually add knee braces on the top to support that square, and that will strengthen this whole thing up really nicely. I'm gonna make it 14 inches wide and 20 inches long. I'm going to drill these holes a little bit deeper because after I put the screw in, I'm actually going to putty these holes to make them disappear. I'm going to be gluing and screwing this, so I'm using the same Type Bond 2, and then I'm using 3-inch decking screws on here. I'll go ahead and drill a couple holes here, here, and then put this back in place, add some glue and some screws. Alright, I'm thinking to take this, flip it over, set the base on here, clamp these sides, flip it back over, and then run a couple screws in to hold it in place. And then flip it back over and put some more screws in. And then keep flipping it over and keep putting screws in. Here at DIY Woodn't You, we want to inspire and educate. We want to make projects entertaining and encourage you to try something fun, learn something new, and impress yourself and your friends. We want to remind you that just because you haven't done something, it doesn't mean you can't. So keep learning, keep building, keep DIYing. Really not sure how this part's going to go, but I'm cutting a radius on all these corners. We'll see. Well, that actually wasn't so bad. This is getting stupid. Don't do this at home. Okay, that works surprisingly well. That's weird. I'm just gonna sand over them real quick to smooth them out like the rest of it. They want this tabletop to match the double step route on their granite countertop in their kitchen. And so I've recruited some help. I'm over here at my parents' house to get my dad to help me. And I believe that to achieve the desired result, I'm gonna use this 1/2-inch cove bit and actually walk it down the edge of the tabletop double depth, if that makes sense. So this is a 1/2 inch. I'm going to bury it potentially 1 inch to give a long vertical face, and then I'm going to step the bit in again and do another number of passes to bury that again to get a 2-step cove edge, if that makes sense. And then go back and do a 1/4 inch round over along the bottom. That is how you do it. A double step routed lip, rounded on the bottom. Alright, now I've got a sand starting with 80, and then I'm going to go to 120 and 220 to get this nice and smooth. And then I'm going to go over it with a wiping stain by Old Masters. This is Provincial color, and this is going to actually match the color of the hardwood floor in their house. I've got the base set on the tabletop here, and I've got it spaced how it needs to be. It's 5 1/8 on each side here, and then 10 here and here. So I'm going to put a screw in each corner here. I'm just going to come over 2 1/4 inches either direction with a threaded insert in the tabletop. It's a metal insert that threads into the wood, but then also you can thread a screw into this. And then I'm going to use these countersink washers on the top here to sink that down, make it look neat and clean. Look at that. Alright, here comes the moment of truth. Staining the tabletop. I love that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this Old Masters wiping stain just made me look like I know what I'm doing. This video is not sponsored by Old Masters. However, Old Masters, if you're interested in sponsoring one of my videos, please reach out. My email is in the description. I have in the past tried to use this Wagner paint sprayer that I've got with not much success, and so I've decided, well, to try it again on this project. Why? I don't really know, because the customer wants a cabinet-like finish, and I cannot achieve that with a roller and a brush. I'm going to thin down this Kills 2 all-purpose interior-exterior primer to prime before paint. Second time ever successfully using a paint sprayer. There's some runs, but I'm gonna try to watch those for a minute and work them out so they don't dry like that. As far as paint goes, I'm using a satin finish Sherwin-Williams Showcase line in ultra white, basic standard trim white. I'm going with a satin finish so that it has that furniture smooth look. I think that that's looking pretty fresh. You tell me. Now they want this tabletop to have a satin finish, no sheen really, because that's what their dining room table has. That gives it a really nice clean look. So I'm going to be using this Walrus Oil furniture finish. This is a plant-based, all-natural furniture finish, and so this is actually going to provide that matte or satin finish on this, and it's going to soak into the wood and seal and protect it. I've used this product quite a bit, some of their other products as well, and I love them. This video is not sponsored by Walrus Oil. However, Walrus Oil, if you'd like to sponsor a video, please reach out. My email is in the description. The table's complete and in place, and I think that it fits this area just right. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more fun projects that we're working on, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to see you back. If you want to be the first to know when we post another video, hit the notification bell. I'm Brad. This is DIY Woodn't You. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Okay, the test piece looks good, see? See? Alright. Well, I decided to quit being a dummy. You're still going? I guess.